Good morning and welcome to day 31 of our third annual WSOP Daily Spaces coverage and the longest running poker space. I'm Sherry Pluskota, aka Peaches, and joining me this morning as co hosts thus far, because we come and go in here, are Kieran Chess and ASG. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, ASG, good morning.
Morning or afternoon or whatever we're at.
Yep. Um, and welcome to Exec Deck and Sandy. I see you guys down there in the goo. Appreciate you being with us this morning. Exec Deck, I looked up some information you were seeking, so stay tuned. Many thanks to my sponsor, Elevator Results. If you need a tailor-made workout plan to help you lose weight or gain weight, Elevator Results can design that plan. Follow them on Twitter and check out their site at elevatorresultspt.com. You can find the recordings of all my past spaces, including the daily WSOP coverages and the WPT coverages, on my YouTube channel at Sherry Pluskota 9212. Please subscribe. Be reminded, we always try to give the most updated and accurate information, but we do make mistakes, so please double check any information we provide to ensure yourself the best experience possible. And please correct us when we're wrong so we can make sure we're getting the corrected information to everyone. Be reminded that the WPT Gold Rush Lounge is located at the Old Red building on the third floor. It opens again today, Thursday through Sunday, 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. Also, the Poker Legends Lounge is open from now until July the 11th. They open at 10 a.m. and on their site it says open very late, but I think they're kind of closing between 9 and 10. Don't really know, but that's kind of what I've heard. They have a lot of events going on at that Poker Org Legends Lounge. So check their schedule to see what events you want to go see or listen to, whatever, or participate in. And they are giving out some free water bottles and swag. I think last night they had like open bar. So, it's a fun place to hang out for sure. Go ahead, ASG.
So just to tease later discussion, if you go to the club WPT Gold Lounge at Old Red, you can pay. I think it's $60 for nachos. That if you finish within, I want to say it's 15 minutes, maybe a half hour, you get a free gold ticket. A certain player did that. We'll talk about that later.
I love it. I love the teas for sure. Um, Today is the WSOP ladies event, and I'm staked in that one. Joey Ingram was gracious enough to come in a space the first week we were going on our daily spaces and offer me a staking. So he and a couple other folks are doing that for me today. So we are going to have a fun show. I'm sure it's going to get heated at times because we get some hot topics. But I'm going to try to keep it relatively short, so to speak, uh, because I do need to get to that ladies' event. So let's hit the ground running, shall we? First, I want to give a little shout out to Cody Daniels and Alan Keating are playing in the tag team event. I was so excited to read that and to see that Cody's feeling well enough to get here to Vegas to play, and they have made it on to day two. So definitely excited to have read that last night. I want to also go over one other thing before we hit the ground running on all these other magnificent topics we have this morning. I received a DM and I'm just going to read it because honestly, it's kind of discouraging. It's maddening. It's frustrating. Um, you know, and I just am going to read it, and you guys can, take away from what it is from a take away from it what you do, but please don't send me DMs like this, please, because then I got to block you. And I honestly, I don't take blocking lightly. Do I block people? Yeah, because I just don't want your bullshit in my life. So here we go. So at 4:12 this morning, when I'm sleeping, of course, I get a hey Sherry, and it's in one of your, the other folder. I'm not following this person, I don't think, right? Because it's in the other folder. Anyway, so I just this morning at 7:23, I write back, hey. They write back, how you doing today? Wasn't sure if you'll have time to respond to DMs. I said, I barely do. I'm good, thanks. Trying to get ready for the space in the ladies event. Oh, that's great. Is the space meant for only ladies? Also, I did listen to you speak one time, and you sound very funny and generous. Yeah, you know where this is going. My friends also said the same. So I was wondering if you could send me some money. Preparing for my daughter's birthday, and I haven't gotten everything she wants. If I get everything she wants, I won't be able to provide food. So it's complicated. Hopefully you can help me out now. And you're on now that you're wait, help me out now that you're on and responding to DMs. My response, sigh. A shame you are asking for money. Now I must block you. Take care. Their response, it's fine. I understand. Thanks. Please don't send me DMs like this. Please, I only help people and get taken advantage by people that I've known for at least 2 or 3 years. So if I don't know you personally for that amount of time, fuck off. Don't send me these DMs. So sorry, I had to get that out of my system this morning. Um, all right. I don't even know which one to get into first. Let's get into the golden nugget first. Go ahead, Mod Father.
Yeah, I'm gonna just briefly touch on
Oh, we can't hear you.
now.
Yes.
Okay, I have to kind of scream. Sorry. So I just have one major question.
Yes.
Never gonna step in the door of the Golden Nugget again myself. I don't like what they did, but I want to bring up a question to you, Sherry.
Yes.
That's an honest question. Did WSOP agree in a meeting at some point to let WPT hold these contests for bracelet winners if they have I have a gold pass myself, but to win the extra $1 million. ASG, I'd love for you to weigh on this as well. Do you think WPT just put their foot in the door like a Trojan horse and rolled it in and said,
Okay.
this is what we're doing?
Okay.
Go
Time
ahead.
out. Time out. Time out. We're going to get to that topic in a minute, but I need to get some things crossed off my list first because that topic's going to take a little while. And so I want to give it all the time we can by getting the rest of this stuff out of the way. So just hold on to those thoughts for a minute, people. First, I want to talk about the golden nugget. The Golden Nugget started day 1A of their golden air yesterday. And if people may remember, when they had the ladies event, they were supposed to give a ticket or a seat to the golden air to the winner of that ladies event. And they pulled the rug on that and took that away, as well as the guarantee for that ladies event. As well as, they've been changing things, including guarantees the entire summer of their series. So now that you get to yesterday, and it's day 1A of the Golden Year, which is their, marquee tournament for their series this summer. It was originally supposed to be a $1 million guarantee. Then they changed it to whatever their fancy wording is, potential.
Expected price
Thank
pool.
you. Thank you. Thank you. Expected price pool. And then it started yesterday with 19 runners. And of course, they needed 20% of the field to show up tomorrow. For every flight, they have a magical number in mind of how many people they need in that flight in order for them to have a successful and meet the guarantee, right? Tournament. And so they had 19 people register yesterday. Well, if you don't think what you've been doing all summer long with your series has made that come to fruition yesterday, then you're kidding yourself. Like, what do you expect out of the customers? You expect them to show up when you've been doing this kind of switch, bait and switch kind of bullshit all summer long? Come on, Golden Nugget. Come on. We deserve better. We deserve better. And so after the tournament started with 19 people, my understanding it was during the first level, they decided to stop the tournament and refund the money. So, ASG, what do you think about that whole situation?
So, as I understand it, what happened was not exactly that, but that at some point into level one, some players that didn't realize that there was no longer a guarantee found that out and then asked for a refund. And then at first, the original floor said they wouldn't do that, so they asked for a supervisor, and then they got the supervisor or whatever, and then they said they would do refunds, and then there were so few people left after the refunds that they just canceled the tournament.
Okay, so we are getting in the weeds on the semantics, but that what I said was basically what took place yesterday. What do you think about the Nugget doing that kind of, the antics this summer?
I mean, obviously, it's not ideal. I mean, as we've kind of gone over this, as we started the series, they started the series with, what was it, like a couple of tournaments that like overlaid by like, what was it, 80,000. Like, it was
Right.
not a small number, and so they had to pivot, and then their social media was not good at publicizing their pivots. uh, so it's definitely been a mess where they need to get better. They need to both, I guess, in the future, lower their guarantees to something more, or not have guarantees, or lower their guarantees to something less. What's the word for it? Not up. We'll just go with optimistic because I can't think of the exact
Attainable,
word.
more attainable.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, look at your numbers over the last 3 years and come up with a guarantee that match your numbers of where you've been in the last 3 years. It's not that hard. Instead of trying to be splashy social media, numbers, let's just, go by
Well,
what you've been doing the last 3 years. That,
Well, I don't know if they like went beyond where they were the last 3 years, or they did things like, at least with one of their series, they ran it so parallel to the Colossus that you couldn't do both, and that was just bad timing. So I'm not sure which it was, like,
right, right. Okay.
but something needs to be better organized. Is
Absolutely.
definitely
For sure. And you could say that about other tournaments that they were running up against, for the entire series. But again, you know, look at your own numbers and create a number that coincides with your own numbers. We saw that with the WPT and the WSOP trying to compete with numbers and social media and blew up in both of their faces, so to speak. Karen, any comments on the Golden Nugget and what's been going on there? She's running across the room now to click on her phone. Karen, are you still there? All right, Modfather, what do you want to say about the Golden Nugget? I know you said you would never play there again, but anything else on that topic? Dennis, how about you? Hello, Dennis. There you
Good
go, bud.
afternoon. Good afternoon. Hope all is well.
Thanks. Same to you. You have any comments about the Golden Nugget?
Well, the Golden Nugget, I'm about to go out there tomorrow, so I will have a lot of comments about a lot of things. I'm just going to go and get my feet wet, my first time going out there. Just wanted to give you the heads up, and I shall hopefully see you guys and get to connect with a lot of you.
Oh, I will look forward to it, Dennis. I will look forward to it. All right, we're going to keep it moving because, like I said, we're on a short leash as far as time is concerned today. So let us. I was going to talk about Baby Shark, but I know Modfather probably has a busy day, so we're going to go back to um, the WPT Gold Pass situation. And Modfather's question was, do you think they had a meeting, when they organized the Gold Pass, and that it's going to, directly correlate with what's going on at the WSOP? I would like to say I hope so, but I also would like to say that probably not, probably not. And the WPT, I think, has had the best troll of the WSOP all summers long by having this gold pass. They, I mean, have created a media or a PR, storm for themselves. They have literally hijacked um, the media with the gold pass, and take, here you have, a couple of weeks ago, you have a guy win a gold bracelet, pardon me, and it's overshadowed in the headlines with him winning the gold pass, $1 million because of the gold pass, right? Or golden ticket. And so I think the WPT got more PR out of that than the WSOP did. And here again, now we have a millionaire maker with thousands of entries, right? And a huge prize pool. And the WPT has the PR for that. And now they're holding the WSOP just made an announcement that the money has been held. Let me read it real quick. Right before we came on air, the WSOP wrote in a tweet, last night we were made aware of a potential breach of official WSOP tournament rules during heads up play at event number 53. An investigation is underway. At this time, first and second place have not been confirmed, and neither prize money nor bracelet have been officially awarded. Look, I get why people think it's a good idea that these folks were able to capitalize and get the $1 million from WPT. And who's going to leave that stone unturned if it were you? I get that. But also, is this the look we want for bracelet events, for any events? I'm not sure it is, because now they're not playing poker. They're just passing chips around until the right person wins. So I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to let Modfather go first, then we'll get to Karen. Go ahead, Modfather.
Okay, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, good. So I have several things on this. I have the take that, hang on a second. 1 second. I'll be back.
Sure. Go ahead, Karen.
Oh, just sorry earlier when I couldn't talk. My phone was
That's okay.
glitching out. I was just listening to everything while I'm getting ready, playing the Gladiator at 10. But yeah, I mean the Golden Nugget, obviously that's not good. I'm not going to play there anymore. Actually, I've never played there. I was going to play there, but I'm not going to play there.
I'm really disappointed because I was going to play there too, and I'm not going there this year. I'm just not. I'm not going to show up and then um, things be changed. You've advertised it this way, and you know, the first week or two, okay, I understand things happen, okay, but for the whole summer, there's been issues. Yeah, I'm not about it. I'm not going to spend money to Uber down there, and then when I get there, things are going to be changed. Yeah, no, thank you. No, thank you. Go ahead, Brad.
Good morning, everybody. Um,
Morning.
yeah, this is crazy. Like the more I have gathered, like what has taken place over the last like few hours, 12 hours or whatever, like I really think back and you kind of touched on it, Sherry, like honestly, like what a marketing genius of a strat, to be honest with you. I don't like how it's played out, but literally everybody's talking about the WPT right smack dab in the middle of the WSOP. And
Right.
it's kind of like, God, it's fucking genius.
It's a look. It's a public. I've said this since day one. It's a publicity galore for the WSOP. I mean, for the WPT, and it
yeah,
is the best troll that you could ever do to a competitor, if you think about it.
yeah.
Up until this point. Now, I hope after this, the WPT is not going to do this anymore because of what this millionaire maker final table has turned into, because this is honestly not what I want in poker. This is not a final table I want in poker. So go ahead. Were you finished, Brad?
Yeah. Here's what I will say. I think that what happened, for what it's worth, I think these were unintended consequences, but I don't think what it's worth, I don't think they were unforeseen. Um, um, you know, Keeling was in a Spaces last night. I don't know if anybody was there last night. Keeling actually talked about it a little bit, but pretty, uh, just crazy to me. Just crazy. I
Well,
don't.
and I think that, you know, I think that the powers that be probably could have gotten to the answers had they really thought about what it could possibly mean as far as deals at a final table. But I also think that the WPT went into it with the best of intentions. And I think that they just, it was a great troll. I mean, you have to give, I don't know who came up with the idea, but it was a great troll of the WSOP. I mean, you got to give them credit, and it is, probably going to go down in history as one of the best publicity stunts that a tournament operator, the WPT, could have ever done to a competitor. Um, but I also think that it's kind of unfair that the attention is on the golden ticket now instead of the poker and the bracelet event itself and the winners. And that is where, for me, that is, like an Achilles heel. Like, I'm here for the poker, the bracelets, the players, the stories behind the players. And so it's sort of like a double-edged sword, isn't it? Amazing the WPT wants to give $1 million away. Absolutely phenomenal. But is this what we want the outcome to be? I'm not so sure it is. I'm going to go ahead and let Modfather go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, so I want to say this. What I'm trying to say a while ago, I got a work call. I'm trying to portray the image that the WSOP is like the Augusta National Golf Club, right? They just stick to their guns, they stick to their integrity. It's all about the bracelets. I understand all that, but we live in an age now. If you're going to start allowing companies to have $1 million side bets on players, then you're going to run into these exact kind of issues, right? So I don't know if this will encourage WSOP because on Poker Stars, as you know, Sherry, you watch it. They do facilitate chops, and they do put
Right.
it in their numbers. Like there'll be an asterisk, and it'll say a deal was made. Well, I think WSOP to slap back should just put an asterisk on this one and say a deal was made. What do you think about that?
Well, and I'm going to tell you, I've thought a little bit about that this morning as well, and I'm sure others have too. That, hey, if they just facilitate deals, it would take a lot of out of this. No, it would be the same thing. I mean, and them facilitating deal is not going to take away from two people, you know, trying to win an extra $1 million, and the one person has to win the event to get that $1 million.
Yeah, whatever
So
happened to
them
the spirit? Whatever happened to the spirit of the game? Doyle Brunson, Puggy Pearson, all those guys are rolling over in their grave with this kind of stuff going
well,
on, in my opinion.
yeah, but I'm going to say that I'm not going to say specifically any names, but a lot of those old timers were cheaters themselves and cheated in home games and were, wheeling and dealing in the back room. And they're not the pillars of truth and honesty and, morality. And so I just say that when you dangle the carrot in front of a poker player, they're going to fucking go after that carrot, and you can't blame them for doing so. But the powers that be also have to recognize that and make sure that they are protecting the game and that final table so that it is about poker and not the art of the deal.
So, Sherry, what
So
do you
go
do?
ahead.
What do you do if you're WSOP? You tell me what you would rule in this situation.
See, this is a dilemma also. First of all, I haven't given it a lot of thought because I was at the poker table playing last night. And so I'm just really catching up to speed this morning. But I will say that the for me is that um, from what others have said, I've not watched one hand of the final table. So I'm just co- surmising from what I've been reading this morning, and I can be completely wrong. But let's just say that everything that I've been reading this morning is, the truth. And and I say that I believe that people are tweeting their, what they think or saw or whatever. So don't misunderstand. What I'm saying is the truth of the matter. So if there was collusion, that's a problem. And there should be penalties for that because it is clearly against the rules. Now, if the deal was just about the money, okay. But if the deal was, okay, I'm going to just, if part of that conversation was, okay, we're going to do whatever it takes for you to win. And how can it not be part of the conversation? Because that $1 million depends on that person to win. And the chip deficit was so big. And so for two people to meet, and I'm surmising, I am alleging, for the sake of the story, for the sake of this conversation, if, these two people had the conversation about what it was going to take for him to win and what they were going to do to make that happen, yeah, it's collusion. And we penalize collusion every day, as we should. So it is hard to have this conversation and not say, I get why they did it. It's $1 million. But at the same token, the integrity of the game, collusion. Hello, we have a nickel and dime game in spaces, and people are having heart attacks about collusion, and we're talking about $1 million collusion, and it's going to be okay. So what it's never okay. It's never
I
okay.
agree. I
ASG, go ahead.
100% agree. And I'll say this: I have a Gold Pass ticket myself, and I promise you, with everything I stand on, if I made the WSOP deep run in the main event or final table, I'm not compromising my integrity for the money.
I hear you. I hear you. Go ahead, ASG.
Okay, so I'm still trying to find the rules because as you know, the WSOP website kind of moved around. But at least from what I saw somebody else quote, um, they say that the WSOP rules say collusion is defined as any agreement between or among two or more participants to engage in illegal or unethical acts against other participants. If they're heads up, there are no other participants that they were colluding against. So that also is interesting of like, can you collude if you're playing heads up?
Yeah, but were they colluding before that? Before heads up? I
No,
mean,
nobody has
you
pointed to any hands or made any accusations that uh, this was not something that was just done once heads up. That's like,
well, but the conversation. Do you think the conversation was before they were in heads up, like the night
Yeah,
before,
Sherry.
the
Yeah,
morning
no,
yeah,
I
Sherry's
think
before,
it's
correct.
likely
or do you think it happened on a 30-second break at the final
it was
No,
a
table?
Sherry.
much
I
more
think.
than 30 seconds of break. I
Well, I
think
think
that's when
Sherry's
the
correct. This
conversation
this
happened.
conversation could have took place at 4 players, at 3 players, at 5 players. Who knows when the conversation took place? Point is it still compromises the integrity of the outcome.
Right, but if the rule is only against other participants, then they didn't break any rules.
Well, but how do we know somebody wasn't dumping to the short stack with the golden ticket before it came heads up to keep them in the game?
I
And it wasn't so noticeable until they became heads up. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not coming at
The
you,
point
ASG. I'm just
the
saying in
point is
Well,
that
now
general.
the
you're
point
making accusations that nobody's been making. But
the
that's what I'm
point
saying.
is
No, it's just questions. I'm not
Oh
making
no, but
accusations. I'm bringing up
okay. What should I say?
questions.
Or now I'm just talking about the currently nobody has any proof of anything, or even claimed any hands of anything prior to heads up.
Right.
okay, but
Well,
the point of the whole thing is, guys, is a third party is affecting the outcome of a WSOP event with no iron in the fire. WPT has no iron in the fire other than they hold this contest, and it could affect the outcome. What happens when this is in the main event and there's a WPT winner or a Gold Rush ticket winner at the final table? Is it just going to be a complete circus and shit show? Sorry.
Well, and I'm just going to say when I bring questions up, it's just because I want people to think about uh, um, more on the topic, right? So ASG brought up some things. I'd fire back with some questions because we all need to think about different ways of looking at this. For me, I'm like, holy shit, that conversation had to have taken place before they went heads up. And how do we know it wasn't apparent until heads up, right? And people saw 70, 80 hands, whatever people are quoting, that, people were saying it's something's fishy here. And so, but that doesn't mean that chips weren't being dumped to that guy before that. Nobody just thought about it. Maybe we need to go back and look at that whole feed and see if there were any other hands that you go, oh, that may have been the start of it. I don't know. I'm just giving food for
I
thought,
was the I was I was
so just food for
I was
thought,
working the
people.
moderating the chat, and I can promise you from hand one of the final table, I saw some things I've never seen before. I saw Riker or Josh jam King Nine of Spades into Kings, and the flop came
All
three
right,
spades.
that was a pretty normal hand, though. Just want to interrupt real quick.
No, it's not a normal hand.
Yeah,
I mean,
it
that
was.
to me, that's
It
not.
was.
He just
It
got
was a
he
normal
just got
hand.
extremely lucky. That's for sure.
But the way it was played
Okay.
was a normal hand.
All right. I'm going to go to John because he's had his hand up
No,
for a
I
while.
had
Go
my
ahead,
hand
John.
up.
You weren't even
God
up here when
damn it!
John
All
had
right,
his
go,
hand
John.
up.
No, the first thing I want to say is to the people who think that Doyle and Johnny Moss and all those guys will be rolling in their graves. I strongly disagree, having read their biographies, because
Yeah. Okay, John. Okay, John. Move on.
hold on. Let me make my point. I'm not being rude about it. I just want to make a point that, like, at the end of the day, they knew the goal was to make money. And if they're not cheating someone directly, and I don't think if they're heads up, they make an agreement to get this extra million from an outside third party, they're not cheating anyone other than WSOP and the World Series, or WPT, if you even want to think about that way. So I think they'd be like, hell yeah, we want to take this extra million from a random extra outside party. That's fine. Who are these guys cheating besides them? They're not cheating anybody. If they're heads up and if they
Well,
agree to it, heads up, that's their money. That's their money.
yeah, but we don't know that. We don't know that it was only at heads
But
up
we
when the
also don't
agreement
know that
was
they
made.
did it. Like, I'm just
So, of course, of course,
so
of
and I
course,
agreed with
of
whoever
course.
said that if they made a deal with more than two people, then that is immoral and there's no integrity there. But if they're heads up, which
Right.
is what it seems to be, everybody's arguing, that's their money. They can do whatever they want with it. Because
Okay, we're not
no, no, no,
arguing.
no,
We're
I understand.
discussing.
I sorry, I
We're
got frustrated when I
discussing.
got told to move on when I hadn't even got a chance to make my point. That's all.
Well, and I don't. You may not have been in here when I had made that exact point myself. So no
No,
worries,
that's okay.
brother.
No,
No worries.
I really do think that everybody's all upset about this, but like, good marketing move by WPT, because now they're in the conversation. I think that WSOP kind of instigated this when they started their we're gonna have the Bahamas thing
The
during last
Bahamas. Yeah.
December. So they kind of
Yeah.
started this little war. So now they got to deal with it. And I just think that everybody who's mad
Yeah.
about it, like, doesn't
Yeah.
realize that the ultimate end of the day is not about winning the bracelet and being like, yay, look at me. It's like, I'm here to make money. And
Yeah,
if
but
someone else
your little
Well.
thing about
Well.
WPT is bullshit, though, because it's not something to be proud of that they created some type of giveaway and then turn,
but as but as a marketing
fucked up
thing,
the integrity of the fucking
well,
bracelet. Like,
that
it's not something
my
to be proud of.
I'm
They
not
should be
saying that,
ashamed. And they've acted
but
like children
hold
on
on,
social media.
think about it
Think of
like,
their fucking
no,
social
no,
media, though.
no, I
Always
agree with you.
talking
Okay.
shit to
Let John
players.
respond.
Fuck
Let John
I
WPT.
respond. Let John
I agree
respond.
with you that WPT Gold's social media is out of line. Like, I don't like what they do with their social media, right? Like, I'm not trying to argue that point, but I'm saying WPT as an entity, as a business entity, made a genius marketing move, because now they're in the conversation when it was about somebody else.
Oh,
Whether you
yeah,
agree,
definitely. I
whether
agree
you
with
agree with
100%.
that.
how they do it
I don't know
is
about genius, but it worked out.
well, it
Publicity
worked.
is good.
It's really, I mean, they're getting talked about. So as a business,
Well.
it's good for them.
Right.
Right. And let's face it, they came up with a great marketing, PR move here, right? They are trolling the WSOP with this golden ticket from day one. It is a genius plan of action. Unfortunately, it's had ramifications at a final table that I don't think anybody really wants to see at a final table. And if you do, then you do. But I think the majority of people don't want that shit show at a final table. They want a good final table of poker. Go ahead, Brad.
So a couple things. Is you brought up a really good point, and they were talking about this last night in the spaces that really kind of got my brain thinking because heads up, you see this a lot where deals are made. Forget the bracelet for a second. Forget this specific tournament. And effectively, even Kessler brought up a point where people are doing it for rings, where some guy basically got heads up and basically was made a deal financially on the side to win the ring. Uh,
Right.
and so, for all intents and purposes, when it's heads up, there really is no victim in the field. In that sense, I can kind of get behind that heads up. It's their money. They can split the money however the hell they want
Okay.
in that regard.
All right. I'm going to be
But
I'm going to be I'm going to be the little devil's
go ahead. Go
advocate
ahead.
here. Okay. So when we're making a deal at the final table for a chop, I have ICM stack. So I'm going to get the bracelet or the ring, and we're just going to, we're going to chop the money a little differently. Maybe instead of me taking first place money, I'm going to, concede a little bit more to you, and I'll take the bracelet. Okay. Those deals are done all the time. When are there deals done for I'm going to let you win so we get an extra million?
Can
That's
I
a
interject? Can I interject here?
whole different, hold on. Just let me finish my thought. That's a whole different thing that I have to actually let you win to get that extra million for us versus, hey, I'm going to take 60% or I'm going to take instead of $1 million for first, I'm going to take 800,000. You're going to get 700,000 and I'm going to get the bracelet is different than I'm going to, make sure you win today because we want that extra million. Those are two
But
totally
but
different
but
scenarios. Go
but
ahead.
real quick before so I want to hear Slave too, but I just want to real quick. For what it's worth, I mean that $1 million that's on top in this case, it's not coming from the WSOP.
It doesn't
It,
matter.
it's still
What
then
I'm
if it doesn't matter in that sense, it's still part of the money, the prize pool. Effectively, they're still just effectively chopping heads up. It's really of honest.
Yeah, but here's the thing, Brad. It is not chopping heads up. When I have to fold to you or concede chips to you on purpose in hands that I should be winning so that you can win
I
so we can
I
get that
I
extra
I
million.
do agree with this line of thinking. This is the line of thinking that I do agree with. It's not a traditional chop where you know I've seen in tournaments where they'll give out a trophy at a certain series. They don't even play the final hand if a chop was made if the operator or hosts facilitate the
Right.
chops. So
Right,
this
which is totally
and
different
I do
because that's the price pool and I am not conceding chips to you on
I agree
purpose,
with that
even though
in
I
that sense.
have
Yeah.
pocket aces and you have nine deuce offsuit and I have quads on the flop and you bet into me and I fold my quads so that you can win the pot and win the
No, I
tournament.
get.
Brad,
Come on.
Brad, Brad, respectfully. I know you're
Go
a WPT flag waver. I won the
ahead.
contest, so I basically am too. I hope I get deep in one of these. But let me say this, okay? Is there a thought where WPT can actually be sued by WSOP for
I
for the integrity of the game and the outcome of the event?
I can't I
Well, I'm going to
I
tell
can't
you.
fathom a scenario. I
Go ahead.
cannot fathom a scenario where that's the case. And for what it's worth, they're not touting WSOP in this promotion. For what it's worth,
Well, and I'm going to say to you guys, the one thing that we have not touched on at all in this conversation, which is a very important topic, is the Gaming Commission and how they will see this. Go ahead, Luke.
Okay, yeah, that is actually a really good point. The one you just made, Sheriff, about the gaming commission, 100%. Um, they here's what I'll say. As someone who's I've played the WSOP for 20 years, I know what I'm talking about. A lot of these chops have occurred, and it's off the record, whatever. Like this isn't the first time that they fucking chopped. I mean, come on, be serious. You know what I mean? But there's like, first of all, there's a tact to it. You have to have tact. You can't be like talking about it in front of the floor, man. You can't be fucking, on camera. You got to be fucking reasonable about it. I remember I dated a girl. She was heads up in the ladies event. The guy fucking, he's like, hey, do you guys want to make a deal? And I was like, well, whatever. I don't really know this fucking guy. You know what I mean? Like, because he was asking me. And I was like, we thought about it, but in the end, we didn't do it. But like, these things happen. You know what I mean? Anyway, moreover, I want to continue. What else I was going to talk about? Fuck, I'm stoned.
Oh, he's old.
Yeah,
He
too
can't
old
remember
now.
things now.
40 years, baby. No, what I was going to say is, yeah, basically, like, the way they fucked up was being so blatant about it. Like if James is a friend of mine, the guy who had all the chips, Jimmy Carroll. Um, yeah,
Jimmy Carroll.
if he would have just like not come back or something, like think about it. He could have just walked out of the building. And what can they say? Like, we don't know. Maybe he had an emergency. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? Like, eventually they would have had to restart
Yep.
the tournament, right? So this kid would just be
Yep.
eating his blinds. Or I would have just hid my cards from the from the card reader. You know what I mean? Just hide your cards. They could bitch about
Well,
it, but you play like
right.
one huge pot with the cards out. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you gonna tell me? I didn't know my cards weren't on the reader. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to like plan something like that a lot better, especially when it's on a fucking live stream. Like he's losing every pot and he's laughing his ass off. It was hilarious. But anyway, I love James, by the way. The guy's a fucking boss. He's a maniac. I love the guy. One of my favorite players. I used to hang with him quite a bit. Good dude. But one more
Well,
thing I'll say is the
yes.
WPT. I mean, come on, you put a promotion like this out. How could people not like the other guy who won it? Who knows what happened at that FT? Like with Lavin, I know Lavin, he's a good guy, but who knows what happened at that FT? It
Right.
was 200K up top. You think that
Everybody
that
got a
he's not
prize.
telling
Right.
people, hey, like if you fucking let me win, I'm giving you a little taste of this million. But nobody talked about it because they were smarter about it.
Right.
They were obviously smarter about it.
Right.
He got heads up with another pro too. So I'm not even saying I have no idea what happened there. It might have been just he won the bracelet and didn't fuck it. I have no idea. I'm just saying like they had to foresee this taking place when you give a bunch of top pros $1 million fucking free roll. You know what I'm saying? Anyway,
Right. And it's an unfortunate. It really because I think the WPT, even though they are trolling the WSOP
it's
when they started
unprofessional.
this, I just think that they never thought in a million years it would turn into the shit
Oh,
show
for
of this
sure, for
final
sure. No
table.
one could foresee this.
And
Yeah.
so I think they had the best of
Well,
intentions,
I don't know about
and
that,
it's
but
a
yeah, they,
shame.
they were trying to do something
Well,
fun
I
and
say
promote
the best.
themselves. I get that. I don't think it
Right,
was like a
right, right,
intentional like hatchet thrown to
right,
like fuck up
Sherry
right,
WSOP
Sherry
game
called it.
integrity.
Sherry
But it's
Sherry said
bad.
it
It's
best
really
earlier.
bad.
Sherry said it best
right.
earlier. She said the WPT basically hijacked the summer series with
The
this
Well, I
tournament
wouldn't go
yeah,
that
contest.
far.
that what they did for these two tournaments with that golden ticket. Go ahead, Karen.
Yeah, sorry, just off topic real quick. Do you know, sorry to interrupt this great conversation, but I'm running late. Do you guys know, like, when you open the app, do I get a seat assignment? Like, once I click sit in, that's when I get the seat assignment, right?
That's correct.
Okay,
Well,
so
Yeah, I think they changed the
yes.
rule or something.
wait, what?
I read that they
No,
changed the
no, no, no,
rule and
no,
like
no.
yeah, once you
No, she's
click, you got
just
to go to
talking.
the seat. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I'm just running. I wanted to hear the rest of the
Yeah,
space, so I've already registered for the Gladiator. But it sounds like I'm okay as long as I don't click sit in. So, okay. Carry on. Sorry I interrupted.
yeah. Thank you. No, that's okay.
Oh,
Go
I
ahead,
thought you were
Brad.
talking about the late registration rule, like when you have to like take your seat. That's what I thought you were talking about.
So,
Go ahead, Brad.
so Thomas Keeling actually alluded to this yesterday on the Spaces when he popped in. He said that he put it at least into his thought bubble that something like this could, in theory, happen. But he specifically said it would be highly improbable that something like this could ever come to fruition the way it did, because you are trusting somebody on their word of making a deal for millions of dollars, which is highly
Keeling's a
Hold
improbable.
on, hold
troll.
on. Can I interrupt again?
Keeling
I have a really good
Keeling's a
point
troll.
I
to
know he
oppose
is.
that.
I know that.
Brad,
Go ahead.
Brad, here's why it's unfair. pros, we all know each other. Like James and
Right.
Yaganuma or whatever, they all know each other. Like D Peters was on the rail. Fucking, I mean, these people know each other. If it's some random McFuckface, obviously he's not gonna know what to do. That's why it's a
Right.
problem. You know what I'm
Right. Right.
saying?
Right.
Like you
Right.
can't
Totally.
like pressure some guy to lose to you and then just fuck him out of
Right.
the money. You know what I'm saying? Like people aren't lawyers. They don't know exactly the legal things you have to put in place or whatever. So it looks bad to like an amateur guy. Like pros who've been around a long time, we're just like, fuck them. Get the money.
Totally.
Who gives a fuck? But like the
Right.
average Joe sees that and he's like, oh, I get heads up with some guy and he's trying to buy the bracelet off me. Like they
Right.
can't have that. Like I totally get that part of the like
Uh,
that's why you had to have tact and you had to hide what you were doing on a
yeah.
fucking
No.
live stream.
Yeah, no, I agree with you from the player standpoint on that side of it. As far as like, could if hypothetically, if they were decided to quote unquote make a deal, they could have probably been better about it in the scenario. Again, I'm saying hypothetically, if they did do that, but I mean, hell, even the first few World Series that were even won, people talking about Puggy Pearson and all them, they didn't win their World Series. They were like nominated. They just picked their winner. They didn't
Yeah,
actually,
I was trolling. John Robertson, I was trolling. Obviously, those guys are not a pillar of truth and all
right.
that. I was just being funny.
But
Sheriff,
I
can I
just
make a
but,
suggestion
but
about the show, Sheriff? You
Go
should
ahead,
change
Val.
the title to like WSOP controversy or some shit like that. No, I'm serious. I feel like it would draw in some other listeners. I don't know. I'm spitballing
but,
here. I'm
but,
spitballing.
but
All right, I'm going to do it just for you. And you guys know I don't change the
I
titles
like
very
it.
often.
But like really to get into like the promotional thing, the more I think about it, like I really think it really is a genius play. And I whether it how it played out, like honestly, I don't like the necessary fallout of how it played out. But I mean it's a pretty boss play to have like this sick promotion like this during the middle of the WSOP summer stuff and WPT is just being honestly, we're probably seeing more WPT ads and stuff through the social medias than we are WSOP stuff. And the WSOP stuff we're seeing is Martin Cabral. Like I don't know. It's go ahead, Slay. Slay thumbing me down. Go ahead, Slay. Why are you
Oh, I'm
thumbing me
just
down?
saying, like, give me a break. Fuck WPT. Their whole WPT Club Gold. It's a shitty site. They're fucking running these awful bits.
So,
They can go fuck themselves. But
so
anyway,
hold
go
on.
ahead, ASG.
Oh, stop
Hold on.
yourself,
Hold on.
Slay. Now stop
What? I'm
Hold
just
on.
yourself.
saying, give me a break. It was
Stop.
so genius. Yeah,
Hold on.
okay. They ran a promotion and they gave away fucking food. It was a nice move. Yeah, it was like, hey, we're still out here, but give me a break.
Hold on. Another thing too, real quick. The Club WPT Gold is not a branch of the WPT. They are a
They
partnered
suck
or
100%.
dick.
licensed affiliate. They are a partnered or licensed affiliate. It is not the same thing.
They suck. They should have
Now,
gave me a 10K season. Fuck them.
Stop.
I'm
Stop.
sure
Stop
everybody in the
passion.
audience would say the same though, Nikki
Yeah,
or
Brad, come on. I
Clay.
deserved I deserved at least a golden ticket for my pain and suffering.
And $10.
You're not even
You know how
And
much
Nikki.
pain and
$10, right?
suffering I've had, motherfucker? You got a month? Hit me up. You want to be my shrink?
Not
All right, ASG has had his hand up. ASG.
Yeah. One, I just wanted to say, because just to say, this thing also would like have been much less likely to happen if they weren't like running promotions like, scarf down some nachos and win a golden ticket, or whatever they got going on at Old Red, like that made getting a golden ticket way easier for pros to not have to like just get lucky in these free rolls. So that led to a lot of this too. Also, just to kind of, people love comparing poker to sports. So, the reason why the Black Sox scandal happened was because they didn't pay the players. So I don't think this is going to be an issue at all in the main, because if you win $10 million, not to say what's another million, but kind of like, I don't think it'll
No,
be
another
really as
million's
much of
another
an issue.
million, brother. Come on.
Hey, $1 million is the taxes on your 10 million. You get paid your taxes on.
A million's a
I mean, come
million.
on, that's
Especially
the
if you have
taxes.
35% of yourself, like some broke dolts like myself, or 40%. Come on. A million's a lot.
All right, go ahead,
No,
John
I
Robertson.
definitely agree with that point. I think if this was the main event, it would be a completely different story because that's like the event that everybody wants to win, and that's the title where is more important than like
Well, this is
in.
one of the bigger events too, though.
Well, I sure, but I just
Millionaire
think
Maker. I mean, there's two
yeah, but I
people
mean
winning six figures. That
if
doesn't happen that often. Eight, seven
if we're
figures. It doesn't happen
if we're
that much.
talking about the World Series of Poker, I really feel like the main event is like the championship. It's like the WNBA finals and the World Series and the Super. Like it's the one that
Yeah,
everybody
no
like.
shit. No
Well,
shit.
right. So that's the one where like the integrity and the title matters more. And I swear, in any other bracelet event, for most people, I think the money is what they want. I don't think they really care. Like you said it in a tweet earlier, and I agree with you 100%. They've watered down the meaning of a bracelet so much that I really don't think people care about a bracelet as much, unless it's the main event. So I don't think you see this in the main event. But I think in this one, most people probably don't care at all because they're just like, it's those guys' money. Let them have it.
Yeah.
Let
Plus,
Oh, and also I
there's a
forgot to
point.
throw that in
Oh,
there.
go ahead.
Sorry, I just meant to throw that in there. That because it's the Millie Maker, they like the prize structure was like stupid because like to give the first and second place $1 million. So like the difference between first and second was only like 240K or something. So like
Right,
yeah, so that contributed to it too.
WPT
right. And
selected 10 events for the Gold Rush ticket winners to get the extra $1 million. Look at the 10 events they selected. Look at the 10 events.
oh, I didn't realize it was only
There's
10
10 events, and look at all 10 events. They're very top-heavy payout structure events. WPT knew exactly what they were doing with this promotion.
Yeah, they selected non-high. I think they were all like $1,000 and under buy-ins.
So they were really trying to make a millionaire out of somebody that, probably isn't one already, which, that's kind of cool too. I it's such a crazy topic to think about because you think, okay, WPT came up with this great troll and this great promotion to give away $1 million at least once, twice, three times during the summer, possibly 10 times. And then you have WSOP, and I use this word loosely, is victim to that promotion, right? They're being held captive. Some of the PR is going to the WPT instead of celebrating the bracelet winners of the WSOP tournaments. And so it's sort of, stealing the limelight away from the WSOP. And I don't feel good about that either, even though I think it's a great troll. I just, there's so much to look at as far as the big picture, but most importantly, the integrity of that final table. And is this what we want our final tables to look like? Last year, we complained that there were computers at the final table, and and solvers at at the final table. Is this what we want at the final tables? I'm not so sure. Go ahead, Brad.
So, just a thought experiment for everybody. You guys were bringing up a point that for what it's worth, I agree with. I think the WSOP should facilitate chops. Let's fast forward to the WSOP catching up to the rest of the world, and they move towards that. And hypothetically, let's say the $1 million is still on top for the cherry on top. They facilitate the money. Are we even having this conversation today? Nobody's having this conversation today. I can answer that. So,
Well, and I disagree. I totally
how?
disagree with that
How?
statement,
I'm curious.
because honestly, I am for the operators helping facilitate deals as far as the money is concerned. Because if I enter into a deal with you at a final table, there's nothing holding you accountable to that deal but your word.
Right.
Whereas if an operator is involved, and the operator is holding you accountable for your word. The WPT money has nothing to do with the WSOP in that final table. It's an outside promotion. So the WSOP should not be part of the deal making for that. No operator should be.
But
That is on the
but
WPT.
that
Now,
okay.
hold on. Let me finish. Also, this is not just a deal at the final table. Why? Because play was influenced. When you're talking about influencing play or collusion to influence play so that the outcome is a specific person to win, is not making a deal at the final table. That is collusion. And that is not what we want in our poker, right? At a final table
Yeah,
or any
I
table.
agree
So
because
it
I
is
think these
not the
guys are kind of
same.
fucked, honestly. Like I think they're fucked.
It's not the same as just let's help them make the deal. That it's not the same. These are two totally different scenarios than a final table deal and influencing and actually two players playing the game differently so that the outcome is a
Yeah, you're
specific
right about that.
Well,
outcome.
Actually, you are
Those
right
are
about that.
two different
well, did
things.
you see the one drop satellite that somebody referenced?
No.
Okay, so there was a one drop satellite back when they had the $1 million one drop tournament, and it got to Sean Deeb heads up with Gus Hansen, and they had a little discussion, and then the next thing you know, Sean Deeb's betting all but one chip and then folding, and then the next hand is the next hand, and Gus Hansen wins the seat, and Sean Deeb takes the money.
Yeah, I mean that's obviously not allowed, but it's a lot better than what these guys did. I mean, there's no, you can't really prove that. Like this one is on video.
I
You
think
know.
I think Slade nailed it on the head about 20 minutes ago when he said, even though he's friends with Jimmy Carroll, these two guys didn't do a very good job of this. I mean, they made it too
Well, I'm
blatantly
just saying
obvious.
that's a worse job of it than what they did.
And none of it is right.
No, I don't think there's a
Okay, I
problem
got
with making
somebody.
a deal in a satellite, and I don't think. I
I
mean, it's
agree.
against
It's
the
different. It's
WSOP
different than
rules,
this, though.
but they also kind of turn. They kind of look the other way. You know what I'm saying? Like, as long as you're not fucking weird
Okay,
about it, you know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna somebody has DM'd me some information, and so I'm going to read some of it and then I'll post the whole thing in the chat. It is part of the WSOP rules, section number 4, participant conduct and tournament integrity. Section 4, item number 40. The competitive integrity of the WSOP tournament is paramount. All participants must adhere to the spirit and letter of these WSOP official tournament rules that forbid play or any action that is illegal, unethical, or constitutes cheating or collusion in any form. Subsection A. Cheating is defined as any such act engaged in by a participant to break the established rules of play to gain an advantage. Cheating includes, but is not limited to, acts such as collusion, chip stealing, transferring non value WSOP chips from one event to another, introducing chips not intended for an event into an event, card marking, card substitution, or the use of any kind of
All
cheating
right, but is anybody
device.
arguing that they
B.
didn't cheat?
Hold
We
on,
all
hold
know
on,
they
hold on,
cheated. Everyone
hold
knows.
on,
Is anyone
hold on.
arguing
Just hold
otherwise?
on.
I mean,
Hold.
we know it's against the
Well,
rules.
some people are, so I just want, because we talked about where are the rules earlier, so here we go. Subsection B is collusion is defined as an agreement between or among two or more participants to engage in illegal or unethical acts against other participants. Collusion includes, but is not limited to, acts such as chip dumping, soft play, sharing card information
All right,
with
we know what
another
collusion is,
participant.
Sherry. I'm sorry, but this is
Hold
ridiculous.
on.
I mean, all right, whatever.
Okay, you do, but some may not. Participants sending or receiving signals from or to another participant to use the use of electronic communication within the intent of facilitate collusion and any other act that host properties deem inappropriate. Now, chip, I'm going to do another subsection here. Number 1, chip dumping is defined as any agreement between two or more participants for one or more of the participants to bet chips with the intent of increasing another participant's stack. So I'm going to stop reading there. And the purpose of reading that is because there are some people in the space that may not know. And we know you know everything,
Fucking
Slade,
Ray,
but
right.
you know.
I have a question about the collusion issue and the cheating issue. And
Go right
mine
ahead.
is, maybe it's a question, more of a statement. So I always have thought of collusion or cheating when two or more parties are doing something that now cost a third party equity, right? And in this situation, down to heads up, there are no, I mean, assuming they didn't do this with more than two players left, right? The only parties that are hurt here are the operators, correct? Because players haven't been cheated. We're saying they did something that operators, in this case WSOP or WPT, pays out $1 million, but they wouldn't have to otherwise. And WSOP has the people are saying, reputation of the bracelet tarnished, etc. But I don't think I would call this collusion or cheating in the traditional sense. But where do you guys disagree with me on that?
I would just say that the way that it's
Okay.
worded, they could say that that's Barone, right? What's up, Barone?
Yeah, how's it going?
Because for some reason you show up as a listener of mine. I think they could say that he cheated himself, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Like by dumping the chips to the other player. Like I don't think you can punish it the same way you would punish it if it was three-handed. You know what
Correct.
I'm saying?
There are people that
So
make
I think
chops or
they'll be able to.
bad deals
Oh,
too.
Did you see
Like
Jazz
people will
Brow's
make
post?
and they're like, "Oh, I'll take less than ICM because I'm tired,
Right, right.
or I'm gonna go to bed, or I don't know the math."
Did you
And no
see
one's
Jazz Brow's post though?
yeah, but wouldn't you say that's more of a legal chop because we're going by ICM and it's upfront and we're having a discussion versus I'm
Of
dumping
course.
chips to you. Okay, I'm going to be the devil's advocate for a minute,
sure.
Aaron. What if this took place the night before? Because somebody made a comment that these guys are buddy buddy in real life. So what if, say it's you and I, Aaron, and I oh, my phone was. We're great friends, okay, and we're going to be at this final table, and I'm like, hey, let's meet for dinner, the night before, and we sit down, and we're like, hey, you got that $1 million ticket. What are we going to do to make sure you win it? Okay, you're kind of short stack. I'm going to try to dump to you throughout the final table to keep you in it. So we get heads up, then we'll take care of business.
If there are more than two players left and two players have made this agreement, it is 100% cheating, collusion. Throw the book at them. Everything that get your pitchforks out. 100% behind that. I would
Go
be in
back.
line with the pitchfork. But when it's down
Can
to
I
two
just say
players
something?
only, this to me
Yeah.
feels like an issue. Sorry, go for it.
No, Aaron, you're good. I just want to say, as a person who, like I said, I was moderating the stream, and I will say this, and you can go back and watch it yourself if you'd like. Jesse played
We can't hear you.
Jesse played 0 pots until it got like four-handed.
He played 0 pots till it got four-handed. So he was folding his blinds?
He was over-folding a lot of hands. Go back and watch.
Oh, I will. Trust me. When I'm
Well,
done with this ladies event today, trust me, I will be rewatching this. Barry Levy, go ahead, buddy.
yeah, I just think that this is more of a reason for WSOP to change the rules and start facilitating chops and letting chops happen. Because what if with the payouts, $1 million for first, 600,000 for second, 400 for third, 200 for fourth, 100 for fifth, they just didn't get down to 5 players and say, all right, just let me win. I'll get the bracelet and 200K apiece. Everyone will get an extra 200K. And that's it. And they didn't chop up the top 5 prizes amongst the last 5 players. We don't know if that didn't happen. Just 2 World Series ago, before last year with the electronics, the year before, everyone was saying that they absolutely made a deal when
Right.
Sean Deeb was
Right.
coaching the guy. So they need to change the rules, facilitate chops. This way, you don't have to follow a guy to the cage that comes in 5th place to collect his money and you
Okay.
don't lose down.
And I agree with that. I do think they should facilitate chops. But in this case, I view it a little differently because this isn't just regular prize pool money we're talking about, a chop about. I do want to know, though, Modfather, you're a golden
Your
ticket
phone's cutting
holder.
out, Sherry. I get to do it to you.
No, sounds fine to me.
Okay,
fine to me.
so okay, Modfather, I do have a question for you though, because you have a golden ticket. Do you have? Is it stipulated anywhere? Like, do they have to play the tournament out? Like that could be that could have been one of the things too, that there couldn't have been a chop that like they had to play it out.
Yeah, I just got a letter on my desk that's pretty interesting. I just got a letter that says, what if WSOP number one rules against this and doesn't pay them? Number one, and then I got another thing that says, what if WPT says, yeah, because they were colluding, we don't have to pay either. So is there a world where nobody gets paid?
Well, I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to say this for the second time. I guarantee you the Gaming Commission is involved right now, and nobody is thinking about what they're going to say. And I'm going to tell you, there's 100% chance these two guys could not get paid by anybody. I'm going to tell you that is.
Sorry to cut you off there, Sherry. I
buddy.
think that at its core, this is an argument between two of the bigger parties, the operators. If these players don't get paid, like we can talk about, at the very, very least, they both should get second place money. At the absolute least, like it is a ridiculous thing to say, oh, well, they actually decided to make a deal that gives them more money that costs no other players equity, and we're going to take away the money they earned in the actual tournament.
Look,
If WPT
I agree with you.
Hold up $1 million, that's on them. That's fine. Like that's an agreement that WPT
Well, if the bracelet isn't rewarded, then they wouldn't owe the 1 million, correct? And
Look,
they're not giving this kid a bracelet. 0%.
But here's the thing: I would totally agree with what you said, Aaron.
But I agree
if
with
it
you, Aaron.
weren't the fact that they were chip dumping or colluding, so to speak,
Yeah,
whatever.
but Sheriff, he's
to
saying
make
no
it
one
happen.
got
So it's
cheated out
just
of any
not.
more money than the
But neither.
250. The only money that could be scammed was that 250. If there was no cheating before then.
But if I play a heads up match with you for, and we just chip dump to each other, no one's hurt by this. We made the agreement. We've agreed to chip dump and swap equity, and no other players were harmed in the process. If there's a third player, then yeah, that's pretty fucked. But if there isn't, I don't understand who the victim is here other than WPT. And if they don't want to pay the $1 million out because of that, that's reasonable. I can understand that. But people are dragging these guys through the mud because they made a plus EV decision that hurt nobody, at least no other players, and I think that seems really unfair.
I think morally, they didn't do anything wrong. Morally, it's just that they broke clear rules.
I think as we keep driving this bus that it only affected. I think we keep driving this bus that only two people were affected because they made the deal when it was heads up. I think that, like Sherry said, what happens? You open up Pandora's box of who knows what they had dinner the night before.
Yeah, and the guy who got third, they could say the guy who got third might have been in on it. Who knows, right? Yeah,
exactly.
Because it's $1 million, but the pay jumps were pretty big there too. So 3-handed, highly unlikely, but because the pay jump's $300K. So if you're telling the guy you're going to pay him off, you got to split the mill 3 ways. It's not.
Slade, did you watch the whole stream from the beginning to the end?
I mean, I watched most. I didn't watch every hand, but I watched.
Okay, so I would encourage you, if you have any spare time.
5-handed. I probably watched from 5-handed down. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you have any spare time, start from hand 1 when the stream went on, and you just tell me if you didn't think that there was something.
Did you think that they played Yaganuma soft? Like, it doesn't make sense, Jimmy. If they're 9-handed, what, they're going to let the guy stay in? It's not possible. It's not.
Yeah, it is. Okay, let me give you. It is possible.
It's possible when you get shorter-handed. Sure,
yeah, but it is possible for me to just dump some extra chips to him to keep him around.
Are there any hands that people
I don't
stand
know.
out? I mean, let's hear it, Jimbo.
Look,
if there's a hand where they dump chips to Yaganuma.
No, what I was saying was, and if you go and watch,
well, the hand you mentioned was just a big stack shoving and running into.
Yeah, that wasn't even Yaganuma
like,
in the hand.
That's a normal hand,
right? But that wasn't Yaganuma. Wasn't even the hand.
He had all the chips. Reichert had all the chips.
But all I'll say is, folded like a few rivers when they.
You're cutting out badly.
We can't hear you. If you're on a headset or something, that's probably the issue.
Hey, it's bad. Yes.
I just want to point out though that and most people aren't going to have studied this position. If you've got an extra $1 million in equity, your ICM choices are going to be far different from every other person at the table. So it's quite possible that folding a lot of ridiculous hands is the correct play. I obviously haven't studied it because I don't have a WPT Gold Pass, but I do think that is something that people are going to have to consider when they're reviewing the hand.
It's going to be interesting to see what Doug Polk puts out later today because he's diving deep in the lab on this one. Go ahead, Maddie, you asshole.
All right, so I want to speak carefully on this and choose my words wisely. So the only things that I do want to declare is if you guys think that there was any chip dumping going on, you obviously didn't watch the stream and watch the ace nine versus ace four hand where the guy three outed him. Now, if you watch the stream and you watched from 7 players down to 2 and you think there was any type of collusion, then none of you know what poker is in the slightest bit. Like, stop it. I'm not going to speak on what happened heads up, but the only thing I will speak on about it is if any of you think that any deals went on the day before, or any type of shenanigans, like just stop it, yo. Like for real. Like just fucking stop it. None of you know them personally. You're just going to speculate and say shit, but I
Maddie,
could say with 100% certainty none of that shit went on in the slightest bit.
Maddie,
Not in the slightest bit.
we're not saying that it did or didn't. We're just saying what if. So, and
think
just so that people know, Maddie does have a little bit of a vested interest in the topic, and I'm not going to say what it is. So, much like Brad defending the WPT, Maddie's defending the other side, and I
What, Maddie
love
had
that.
10%?
I
Maddie had 10%.
and
He's
I,
got a
just to
fucking
Maddie's point though,
100 large
and I
riding
love
on
that.
this
Hold
bitch.
on, you guys.
He's got 100 large riding
I
shit,
love
man.
that,
That's
Maddie.
100K. I
Appreciate you,
know he'll give
Maddie.
me a little taste. I know Maddie, yes. He's a good boy. He'll give me a little taste.
Send that tenor, Maddie.
but just to echo
Nah,
Maddie's
he'll give me more than a tenner on
there was a
100.
comment earlier about what's possible. Well, it's possible. Well, that's possible. And if we go down that route, then what isn't possible? And I think that's the danger of talking about it, of speculating about it, that we can go down these rabbit holes that have no validity whatsoever.
Aaron, let me introduce you to X Spaces, where we go down every rabbit hole possible.
That's
Oh, I see. All right, it's my first time. To be fair, all right, now I know.
I think we also lose track of innocent until proven guilty a lot of times too in the court of public opinion, and I think that people need to remember that. If there's no evidence that points to something, that it's dangerous to speculate too much.
If a big major conglomerate like the WSOP has made a statement, remember last year when they had laptops on the rail and WSOP, we were waiting for a statement. WSOP has made a statement now within a 12-hour period of that going on. So I think that in itself should speak volumes of what happened.
Well, but we also have to remember they posted the winners and then took those tweets down. So, I think that, they said they're under investigation, and I appreciate that as a player because, again, we want our final tables to be about poker and people winning, winning their bags of, but we want it done with within the rules for sure. And nobody faults these guys for wanting an extra million, especially the guy that didn't have the golden ticket, right? But at the same token, it's not just a chop. It's not an ICM chop. It's just it is different than a normal chop at a final table. Karen's on her way to the tournament. She'll probably be listening still. Good luck, Karen. Go get him, girl.
Good luck. Good luck.
Yeah, I definitely remember one hand where I think that guy with the gold guy was playing like uber tight. Like I definitely remember one hand where the guy with the MSPT hat who came in third, he bluffed the shit out of him at one point. So yeah, there definitely wasn't soft play there. I can tell you on that hand.
I love it.
I think though, because go back and watch when they were three-handed.
We cannot hear you, Mod Father. We cannot hear you. We cannot hear you.
That's God.
Well, there's also nothing to say the third place guy wasn't compensated in some way just for being part of it. You never know, but without evidence, we can't really.
And we're just surmising, right?
Yeah, that was the guy with the MSPT hat. So that's why I was saying if he was involved, then I don't know what he was doing bluffing him so hard in that.
He was the straight crusher, though. Reichard's a straight crusher.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he was a little too aggro in my opinion, but things happen.
Yeah, he was definitely playing for the win, ASG. I'll give. He definitely wasn't playing for pay jumps. Excuse me.
Well, and I want to remind everybody that here in Spaces we talk about these topics, hot topics of the day or cold topics of the day, whatever, and we do like to think about every aspect of it, every corner of the room, so to speak. And it's not that we're ready to arrest and sentence and firing squad. It's about exploring the rules. It's about getting different people's opinion on the topic. And guess what? Your opinion's right, my opinion's right. And guess what? Somewhere in the middle is where we're going to find what's going to happen in the conversation, and what's going to happen in the prize pool and these two guys. And they will forever be etched in our minds as those two guys at the final table of the Millionaire Maker. And that to me is twofold. It's kind of sad because I want to be remembered for me winning the bracelet or winning the $1.2 million, not the controversy at the final table of the Millionaire Maker over their golden ticket, right? So anyway, welcome, Isaac. Go ahead, buddy.
Good morning. Good morning.
Sherry, can you hear me better now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I won't move then. I want to say this. This isn't over. There'll be more golden ticket winners, in my opinion, at final tables. So this is just scratch the edge.
How many events where it matters are left?
Fuck you and your fucking golden ticket, Jimmy.
Stop
You
that.
fucking
He's just jealous, Jimmy, because he didn't get one.
fuck off with your fucking golden ticket. You can fucking suck me.
Stop.
Does anybody know how many events where it matters are left?
I have no idea.
I don't know, but I do know that
The total
online Club WPT Gold main event, that where you get your name on the cup and everything, that counts as one of the events. So that would be funny if it happens in their own tournament.
Can I tell a great Jimmy Bluffett story, actually?
Of
When
course.
Jimmy Bluffett won the 10K seat, he hit me up and he said, Slay Dog, I'm in this fucking drawing. I'm going to send you a fucking couple bills for good luck. And bink, he hit the 10K seat on a fucking turbo spinning wheelie thing. Remember that, Jimmy?
So the moral to the
Yes.
story is send him a tenner, people.
Yeah,
It's
if you're
another
in the
10.
main event and you don't send me money, you're a moron, you know?
Oh, I'm sending you a tenner before the main starts. That's for sure.
You're playing the main too, Jimmy? Nice. Yeah, I'll see you out there.
Yes, sir. I got to go for that extra
Come
million.
find me. I want cold hard cash, dog.
Sir.
All right, Brad's got his hand up. Go
I
ahead.
think people should send me like 500 at least before I fly out to Vegas. I got some fucking real expensive meals I'm trying to get out there. You feel me? All right, thank you.
Go ahead, Brad.
So I got a question for everybody here. I will say this, as far if like something was done before heads up, I'm kind of moving towards the direction at the heads up spot. I don't really have much of an issue. I think Aaron touched on a lot of good points that I kind of agree with. If it happened beforehand, I agree. I think it's a definitely an issue. But in this scenario, let's assuming that a deal was made heads up. Is there anybody out there that actually thinks that they should not get paid, either the 1 million from WPT or their rightful owner, their rightful winnings from the WSOP? And secondly, if the answer is no, are you suggesting that they should be DQ'd? Because I think all of those things would be crazy to me, them not getting paid or getting DQ'd. But
They're going to get paid the 1 mil. I think they'll get docked the 250 and they won't award the bracelet to them. And then they won't get the 1 mil from WPT. That's my prediction.
So are you?
I think that they could end up with nothing, but it would be such a bad look that there's
They're
no
not going to
way
end up with
those
nothing.
two
That's never
operators
going to
are
happen.
gonna.
They're going to get the 1 mil for
They're
sure.
gonna get something because those two operators do not want the black eye of giving them nothing. So I don't know if they're gonna get the whole shamil that they
And
are listed as
Yeah, I agree.
winning. But
I agree with you, Sheriff and Slay,
They
100%.
and
they won't award that bracelet.
and,
They will not.
and
That guy's not getting the
100%.
bracelet.
I agree with both of you on that,
and if they
100%.
don't award the bracelet, then what they're saying
Then he
is
loses the 1 mil. Exactly.
if they don't award the
From
bracelet,
WPT, yeah, WPT won't pay out. The
if
deal was you got to win a bracelet.
if
Of
they
course they won't
if
pay
they
out.
don't win a bracelet, then in that sense, they're basically saying that they broke the TOS rules, and should they be DQ'd and banned? 86th.
I
And I
hope
know
not.
this
I
isn't
hope not. I don't think they'll
well,
be banned. Maybe for the rest of the series or something. But
I I think there's a possibility they do get 86
I,
because
I that
they're going to take a
I'll
strong
tell you this:
stance,
I
and
got
now the
86
gaming
for 5 years
commission.
for less. I got 86 for 5 years for less.
Exactly,
So
and we don't know what the commission is going to say, and they got to deal with that. The powers that be are dealing with the gaming commission, which is like the black cloud, right? Nobody wants to deal with the gaming commission, let alone on this big of a public
I ain't scared of no
stage.
gaming commission, motherfucker. No, remember in Casino, Ace Rodstein? He got into it with the gaming commission, and then it was over for him. Once he fucked with, it was the gaming commission, then the mafia. That's the only thing you don't want to fuck with more than the gaming commission
Yeah,
in Vegas.
I mean, and so you don't know what the ruling is going to be, and it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out because there's a lot of different ways to look at it, and quite honestly, do any of us know all of the rules and regs, let alone the state and federal rules or whatever that the gaming commission goes by? None of us know those well enough to be able to even really be able to answer those questions.
One thing I can tell you, Sherry, is looking in the fine print. Your question a while ago, I didn't skip over it. I was looking for the answer. I think it does have to be played out, the tournaments on the WPT side, as far as to
Okay.
get the $1 million.
So no deals. So that's part of their golden ticket too, is they have to play it out. So, maybe that golden ticket ends up not getting paid if the WSOP doesn't award the bracelet. Then the WPT can say, well, there was no bracelet awarded, so therefore we don't have to pay the 1 million. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to look at that.
There's some juicy irony in the fact that if they get disqualified, nobody makes a millie in the actual tournament,
Yeah.
in the millie maker.
Yeah.
But if I'm
They won't get
Club WPT,
disqualified. I don't think.
I hope to God not, because I think that would be worse than anything
That
that
would be
anyone expected.
so fucking
agreed.
disgusting.
Agreed.
I would
But if I'm
fucking be
WPT,
disgusted.
I mean, WPT clearly has no problem paying out money. Money is not the issue. If they really want to stick to WSOP, they pay out. They just like, you know what? Like, if
Yeah,
anything,
yeah.
to
Because then if
give
they
them less
don't
money,
pay
take
out,
money away,
the
we'll
players
make you
will hate
whole.
them.
Because our promo made this thing sort of happen. We don't want to have you guys suffer. We want to have you pay rake on our site. We'll make you whole. We'll pay the money. No big deal. And somehow they look like the good guy when they
Yep.
were trolling WSOP, and they look like the bad guy.
Yeah,
Yep.
because everyone's gonna be pissed at WSOP. And
Yep.
like, oh, you don't care about the players, and WPT will be like, here's $1 million. You
Yep.
know?
Again, the WPT comes out smelling like a rose with their
Yeah,
little
it's like,
with
oh,
their
we're so
little.
out. We love it when you guys collusion heads up. Here's your money.
But
I don't
let's
know. I
let's
don't know.
get
It's a tough spot.
all right. All the joking aside, let's get one thing straight. Brad was correct. WPT Gold is not an affiliate of WPT. So when we keep throwing the term WPT around, they're not the bad guy in this situation. It's specifically WPT Gold
Well, and I
promotion.
don't think the WPT Gold is the bad guy either. I think that they are. And I said this a couple times already. They came up with a publicity troll of the WSOP that's paying off big dividends for them, and it is what it is. And it's unfortunate that it's turned this final table into a shit show, really, because
Bad
we know
press
it
is good
wasn't their
press,
intention.
Sherry. Bad press is good press in the poker business.
Well, news,
Also,
news
Modfather,
travels
I'm
fast.
sure
Bad
you're
news
right.
travels faster. Go ahead, Aaron. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah, I'm sure you're right, Modfather, that WPT is not the same as gold, but it's very confusing. And so I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing and saying it. Like, they did this on purpose as well. I'm not educated enough to figure out the truth, even though you just told me. So I'm just going to keep doing it.
I love it.
Yeah,
Aaron
yeah,
belongs here.
the
He is one of the tribe.
yeah, I was just trying to make the differentiation earlier because there's a couple comments that were linking them to, and basically the short of it is Club WPT Gold is a licensed partner. They have the access to use the WPT branding. That's part of their partnership arrangement. And I was just distinguishing that Club WPT Gold is actually a different company in itself. Is my only point I was making.
Fair.
WPT is not
You're totally
to
right.
play into it though. I mean, look at their social for a few minutes ago. They said, "What happened last night?" So they obviously
It's all
know.
the
Oh, of
same
course,
shit.
it's their affiliated
I'm
partner.
saying,
Of course, they know. They're aware.
Well,
They're
I
definitely
know.
aware.
So I agree and understand what you're saying, but I also think that to like completely separate the two is disingenuous. Also,
No, that's not necessarily what I was trying to. I'm not trying to separate them. They're partners, so they're definitely linked, and they have, like I said, they have the authority to use the WPT branding. So they are partners, and the Club WPT Gold trolls that you see out there for posts and the memes. That's not WPT themselves putting that stuff out there. That's the Club WPT entity or Club WPT Gold entity
Right.
that is putting that out there. Specifically, probably Keating. He's the meme god, and he's the one that's really behind the Club WPT Gold stuff. So he's really,
And he's hilarious, by the way.
he is.
And
He's hilarious.
Matt Kiefer as well.
Matt Kiefer's awesome. I interviewed him, and we actually talked about this promo. And before all this stuff happened, actually, the day Lavin won it, I had the interview with Kiefer before he won. And but yeah, this is definitely a pretty wild
Right.
situation for sure. And
For sure. And we're going to move on to ASG because my time is fleeing, you guys. Go ahead, ASG.
Yeah, I got a fun hypothetical. What if somebody, let's say Jason Mercier back in the day, had a bracelet bet and he just paid off the players to win the bracelet because it was more money to him than winning the bet?
Listen, I don't think anybody's arguing that there have been backdoor deals at
Oh
final
no,
tables
this
through the
wasn't.
year.
No, he didn't win his third bracelet. But I'm just saying there was a time when he
Yeah,
had this
but
like
what I'm saying is
gigantic
I
bracelet
believe
bet
that
with
stuff has happened, ASG. I'm telling you, I believe that stuff has happened for sure at final tables. I don't doubt that at all.
Well, on a smaller scale, have you ever done a last longer bet with a friend and you made a slightly tighter fold than you would have to last longer?
Right.
Because on a much smaller scale, that is playing your hand differently based on
Right.
outside equity
That's right.
that actually in that case can affect players in the tournament. And
Absolutely.
so no one gets mad about that because they shouldn't. It's not a big deal. But obviously when this is on a grand scale, and televised or streamed and there's millions up top, it attracts a few more eyeballs.
Well, and
yeah. I
let's
mean,
not
I
forget
remember.
that you're playing your stack tighter, but you're not dumping your stack to someone else
Okay,
to win
well,
that
what
Well, you're
last
about?
longer.
anti-dumping. You're
Yeah,
anti.
but what was it? 2 years ago or last year? Somebody came to the day 3 or 4 of the main when it was about to be when they were playing in like a couple of hours before the min cash, and they had like a letter telling their table mates to soft play them so they could get the min cash.
Oh, I don't think I heard that before. I don't think I heard that.
Oh yeah, it was like a supposed to be like an amusing thing of like, hey, this player did that, and the table
I
kind of
remember that. That is funny.
I don't
semi agree.
remember that. That's hilarious, you guys. Oh, never a dull moment. Go ahead.
Okay, Sherry, I'm out. Sherry. Good luck in the women's event. I hope
Thank
you.
you. Appreciate you.
Thanks everybody for chiming in. This has been a really good conversation, Brad. Mr. Boone, I have never met you before, sir, but you sound very intelligent. Appreciate your input. And John Robertson.
Appreciate you, Mad Father. Have a good day. All right, you guys. We're going to throw the rest of the show out with the bathwater. No offense, bathwater for buy-ins down there. Or they're gone. But I do have to get to the ladies' event. So all those hot topics we were going to discuss that we haven't gotten to, we will hold off till tomorrow. And we will also be talking about the baby shark attack on the elderly women in ladies' events tomorrow. Because, You can't complain about something when you're doing the exact same thing in your article. Being rude to elderly people is the same thing as rude elderly people being rude to you. So, anyway, that's all I'm going to say about that until tomorrow. And I'm going to go around the horn real quick. If anybody has any last things to bring up or last comments, now's the time. I'm going to start with John Robertson.
Nothing new to add. I thought it was a good conversation today. Good job, everybody.
Thank you, John. Appreciate you. Brad.
Great conversation as always, Sherry. Great show. Just listening to people gets my brain working and thinking. I feel differently about this whole situation than I did 12 hours ago, and the more I think about it, hearing people makes me think. So a testament of the spaces is what I'm getting at. Keep doing these things, and I hope this is what makes these spaces awesome, is because we can all get together on a dime and share our thoughts and opinions, and whether for better or for worse, hopefully we can make a difference in these things in the long run. So keep doing
Thank
what you're
you,
doing,
Brad.
Sherry.
Thank you, Brad. I appreciate those kind words, and 100% hit the nail on the head that the purpose that I see in these spaces with these hot topics is for us to look at every point of view, every angle of the topic, whether we like the angle or not, whether it makes us feel uncomfortable or not. It's not that we're accusing, it's that we're, for the lack of better words, investigating, right? We're looking into it. We're trying to talk it through, like, does that make sense or doesn't it? Sometimes we hit the nail on the head. Sometimes we miss the nail completely. But the topics and the conversations are what is important, because that's the only way we improve as people, as a group in, society. Poker players as well help our game remain intact so we can continue to enjoy it. So appreciate those thoughts, Brad. Isaac, any last thoughts, comments, or questions?
Yeah, just a shout out to Bathwater for Buy-ins, who keeps reminding us in the chat that we should be talking about Anna de Armas and Sydney Sweeney and not poker.
Oh,
And good luck
God.
today, Cher.
I love it. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Bathwater for Buy-ins coming in strong with the recommendations for bathwater this morning. ASG, any last comments or questions?
Yeah, just a final comment. If you're an ambassador to certain sites or operators that are known for not having the highest game integrity, maybe you should sit out having a moral stand on certain options. Anyway.
Especially if you're one that places bets on a young lady's having her period or not. Anyway, we're moving right along. Thank you, ASG. Appreciate you. Karen Chess, I know you're probably sitting at the table right now, so I'm just going to bid you farewell, my friend, and good luck again. And hopefully, maybe we can have dinner or something tonight or tomorrow, or lunch, something. Anyway, good luck, Karen Chess. As for me, I need to get ready for the ladies' event. Appreciate all of you. Keep me updated in DMs about this topic, because I'll be playing it, but I would like some bullet points as the day goes on as to anything new that's come along. So keep me posted, especially, ASG is pretty good about that. So is John and Isaac and Brad. But anyway, keep me posted in the DMs, people. Appreciate you all. Thank you for tuning in this morning. It was a great conversation as always. If you're on the felt, good luck today. If not, get off social media and go touch the grass. It's an important part of life. Love you all. Goodbye.